Hello, Loop friends. Welcome to Live Loopers. I'm Alex. It's a great time to be alive if you are a fan of making loop music or just a fan of loop music in general. If people are fans of beatboxers and tabletop looping and all that fun stuff, there is the brand new RC505 Mark II, which our most recent video is about. And people like myself who are fans of mobile looping, we have the brand new Loopy Pro. There it is. It's an existing thing that exists in the world, and you can actually go out and get it. It's been a really long time between releases, between Loopy HD and Loopy Pro, and there is so much new stuff. It's so deep now, so much stuff that trying to get a handle on all of it all at once, it can be frustrating. This video is going to show you how you can get around 3 frustrations that I found working with Loopy Pro. First thing I will say is that even though there are so many new features in Loopy HD, you don't have to really let that bother you. A lot of it works just the same way as Loopy HD used to work. And if you're familiar, I mean, it's pretty easy to just download this and get it to start making sounds and have a lot of it work just the way that you're used to with the old one. And interestingly enough, if you're used to working with the RC505 and you look in the sample projects, like somebody drew kind of like a picture of, I mean, they tried to make something that's similar to the RC505. The point is that even if you are not Beardy Man, and you're not, I mean, unless you are, you're not. Even if you're not Beardy Man, you can design your own workflow that works exactly the way you want it now. I mean, you can make your own looper. Loopy HD is that deep. You could do what you want. Case in point, this is my awesome workflow that I love. This video is not about that, but if you want me to show you a tour of my workflow, just like leave a comment down below. I'll show you what I made and how I made it. But let's get into it. Frustration number 1 is there are dazzling new features with Loopy Pro. And one of the dazzling new features that is really super awesome is that now there's a lot of automating your first loop. Because for a lot of people trying to learn how to do this for the first time, making that first loop is problematic. And there are 2 things that really help out now. One is that you can just set it to wait until it hears the first sound, so you don't have to you don't have to press it right at the first second that you're making your first sound anymore. It can do that for you. And also at the end of the loop, you don't have to press the end at the exact time of the end of your loop, because Loopy does some loop guessing now, and it sort of figures it out for you and trims your loop so that it is makes a nice tight beat. And it is really a game changer in terms of making looping more accessible. And I mean, some people, there's split opinions. Some people are like, well, just learn how to do it right. And some people are like, anything that makes it more accessible so that more people can access the wonderful world of having fun, making music, doing creative things, it's got to be a win. But for me, as great as it is 90% of the time with setting the beginning and the end of your loop, I do too many start and stop beats. Case in point, like something like this, where the beat is like, it's like the first half is some drum beats and the second half is rest, and where is it going to put the end of that loop? It's not going to put it. It hasn't been in the right place. That's my point. So I had to just kind of turn that off and go back to the old way. And once I got it in the old way, I was happier. I thought, the just doing it the way I was used to seemed to be working until I looked up in the corner and noticed the beats per minute. When I started manually chopping up my first loop myself, um, now it was having the beginning and the end in the right place, but the beats per minute that it was giving me was just wrong. It was just really wrong. Like very, very wrong. It was like, 3,000 or 5,000. I had like beats per minute of like 40,000. That's wrong. So that led to a whole lot of frustration, a whole lot of time trying to figure it out, and trying to just manually do. Oh man, I was deep in the weeds trying to figure out something, and also when you the way you get to your beats per minute and see what it is, there's this beats per minute menu. I mean, it'll once you make a beat, it'll show you what it thinks the beats per minute are, but also you touch this little thing and it shows you a beats per minute menu. And that beats per minute menu thing has like a detection range, which here it says like 75 to 150. That's perfect for me. I'm like, if you can make sure that you guess a beats per minute that's in that range, we're golden. But still, I was getting like the beats per minute in like, the tens of thousands or something. So I was like, man, I wish there was just a button that you could press to just say fix it, Like that's wrong. I can't work with that. Which you actually like you can't work with that. Like I try to set my loops to like 32 bars. Well, I mean at 40,000 beats per minute, 32 bars is done in a flash. Uh, so couldn't really work with it, and I was just like, could just have a button that could just like fix it. And there's not quite like one button that you can press to fix it, but there is the next best thing. A teeny tiny little thing right here next to the beats per minute that it gives you in this menu is a multiply divide. And once you press that, you can divide in half the beats per minute that it guessed. And if you divide that in half enough times, you can get it down into the range, and then you can work with it. And it's a little bit of a kludgy workaround. It does take you like, 10, 20 seconds at the beginning of a song to fix it. But that's a whole lot better than like, I was thinking like I can't even work. I was gonna like set it back and just, like wave bye bye to all my start and stop beats forever, and I wouldn't have been happy that way. So frustration saver number one is like look in that menu and find that little teeny tiny division multiply thing, and you can work with that if you're having the same problem I'm having, and it fixes things. It makes it so much nicer. I'm so glad that I just stumbled upon that. Potential source of frustration number two is that Loopy is a lot of the things just work the way that the old one worked, and it's familiar, and a lot of the gestures work the same, and it's great. It's an old comfortable shoe. But for each clip, donut, whatever you want to call it, before you would like swipe off a loop and you could delete it. Now it has a little pop-up that asks you to confirm that you want it to delete it. That's awesome. And now it also has added this functionality where if you swipe up on a clip, it will have this pop-up menu where you can configure the clip. Cool. However, in the old Loopy HD, we used to have this gesture where we would take a loop and drag it into another one, and transport it from one place to another place. And now sometimes you try to do that, you go and you're just popping up the menu, and when you try like 5, 6, 10 times to move a clip around, especially because now we have all these AUV3s, and sometimes you need to like move clips so that you can get a touchable loop again. You know, get some space where you can. Neither here nor there, but it's very necessary to move these loops around sometimes, and sometimes when you just can't get it, it's annoying. One workaround I found a little bit is to skew them a little bit, so if you're not having to move it straight up, that might help a little bit, but that wasn't even helping me very much. But the other thing I found is, and this doesn't even work all the time, but it works. It's helped me do better now. Is just start off in a direction that is not straight up. Start off like to the side, and then do like a crescent moon and curve around and go up. That seems to work better for me sometimes. I'm gonna try it and hope that it works since I'm on camera now. That would be great if it just works. It didn't. Nope. Alright, I went and played around with it for a second, and I found that like a really, like not even just crescent moon, but like a really wild, wacky circular thing, like a real half semicircle where you go way out of bounds and loop back, that has seemed to work a little bit better for me for sliding them around. Hope that helps you. Third potential source of frustration is this wonderful, wonderful new mixer menu, mixer screen, where you can make all kinds of complicated routings and route your sound and like make it so that you can loop your sounds back into each other and record from loops and all kinds. There's just so much potential in this thing. It's wonderful. But I have found that when you first start playing around with it and you want to route some sounds from one place to another place, you can really get under your own skin trying to make a loop, and like there's just nothing recording and you can't figure out where your sounds went and why they won't go from one place to another place. I will say, have some patience, take a deep breath, read. There's a manual you can read up on, but also like this column right here, it tells you going across, you know, what you have, the pre-fader effects, post-fader effects, destinations, and sends. If you are like me and you have like old people brain and you know, not so agile with working with the new stuff and everything, you know, just take a second and read that. I had convinced myself in my mind that this third column here was sources, and it says clearly right here destinations, and sources and destinations are kind of opposite one another. So if you have it, you know, convinced in your mind that, you know, this is a source and you're trying to route it somewhere and it's not a source at all, you can frustrate yourself endlessly. Key thing to remember is once you get it working once, that's all it takes. You just have to get it working once. And once you do, you can design your own workflow the way you perfectly like it and just have it be that way forever. So good luck. If you're wanting to take a deeper dive into Loopy Pro, I got a couple resources for you to check out. One is this video by Galen Drew, who made a great video about, it just showed me some of the things I needed to know about sends and routing audio around. The other thing I'll show you here is John Paul UK, his music channel, where he does lots and lots of great tutorials and has lots of information up already about Loopy Pro. You should check it out. And and also there is the Audio Bus forum, where all kinds of people are able to answer your question. Okay, now loop on, loop on, loop on. Okay, so this isn't a tip. This is a desperate plea for help.